You have an incredible product to sell on Amazon Europe, but you don't know how to start. This is Burak Yolga. I'm the founder of Force Supply Chain and Logistics. Today's video, I have an incredible guest, Tom from Tech Shirley, to explain you how to start on selling on Amazon Europe. Let's get started. Welcome, Tom. And today's episode, we will be recording a video together to explain Amazon sellers how to expand to Amazon Europe. Thank you for coming to my video.
No, thank you very much for having me, Brack, and great to be on here. Looking forward to getting stuck into the topic today.
All right, perfect. So I have a great selling product on Amazon US. The PPC cost is much higher. The bidding is high. The search volumes are lower. There's an inflation, and I'm looking for an alternative. And I heard from my friend that they're selling great. They're killing in Amazon, Germany, Spain, France, but I don't know how to start. I can't go and ask them. So who I'm going to ask? I think Tom from Tech Shirley, right? So I want to ask first the little bit of the characteristic of the market. You know, when we talk about Europe, it's actually a very large market, such as Europe, like, Italy, France, Netherlands, Holland, Germany, Czech Republic. There are different languages. The packaging details could be complicated. The customer service, the listing optimization, but more importantly, registration and tax and everything. So where do I start? What are the challenges and cons and pros in this process?
Yeah, for sure. So firstly, there is a lot of things to consider. So that's part of what Taxi will do is we'll take you through the full list of, okay, this is your US brands here. There's an opportunity for you to start selling in Europe. These are the sorts of things that you need to do. On a really high level, you ultimately need to register for VAT in the countries that you're looking to store your products in. Unlike the US, where you have multiple states, when you send your goods into Amazon FBA, they redistribute your products. Similar ethos in Europe, except for each state is a different country and has different tax requirements, which means you need to register and file in accordance to the ones that you're storing in and selling in.
Right. And Tax Shirley can actually help to reduce this complexity, correct?
Exactly, yeah. So you'll come to someone like myself, we'll talk about your expansion strategy, the things you need to consider, and then we'll get you registered in, let's say, Germany and France, in Europe, which is the two largest markets out of all of them. And what you're then able to do is store your goods in an Amazon warehouse, sell locally to German customers and French customers, and then sell cross-border into other countries using something called OSS, which we can come on to in a minute.
Absolutely. So we hear a lot of, Force is an international logistic company who can help companies to expand globally and cross-border shipments. So for example, if I'm a big Amazon US seller, which I import products from China, Vietnam, I have a 3PL in Los Angeles, and I want to start shipping to Europe, as well as UK, right? And I don't know where to start. So what do I need to have in Europe in order to start shipping products? Obviously, I need to go through a legal process of registering a company, maybe registering a tax ID. Walk us through, please, if it matters. You mentioned that it's important to have a company in the country you're going to start selling, but how do I pick? Europe is a very large continent. Where do I start?
Yeah, for sure. So first you need to do a lot of analysis based on the product category that you're in. If you have any niches, any particular requirements or customer trends that could potentially pick up in certain countries. So one, market research. Two, you then need to identify which countries are going to be most prominent, which marketplaces, which in most cases will be Amazon to start with FBA. It's super easy. And then off the back of that, you need to think about getting your goods into Amazon. How do you do that? You need to have a VAT number, a tax number in each of the countries that you're looking to send your products to. Let's say, hypothetically, that's Germany, because it's by far the largest market. You need to obtain a German VAT number, which Taxly can help you do. And we can then get that VAT number for you, which probably takes 10 to 12 weeks from the point that we have all of the documents. You then have your VAT number, you upload it to Seller Central, and you're able to then send goods in, providing you have an EORI number, which is something that we can get for you as well.
Can you do that as a foreign entity? If I have a company in California, United States,
Exactly.
I want to start selling in Germany, do I need to have a registered office? Do I need to have a legal person in Germany? How does it work?
Yeah, so Taxly will ultimately be your representative. So you'll give us permission to be so. And because we have offices locally in each country where you need a fiscal representative, there's no blocker there for having us to look after your business. ultimately, a lot of brands and businesses that are looking to come in from the US to the UK and EU think they need to set up a new entity. They really don't. 99.9% of brands that we speak to use their LLC and set up a tax number. Really easy to do.
Do I need to have a bank account in Germany? Let's say if I want to start, how do I get paid from Amazon? Is it going to go through my US company? Do I need to have anything local?
No, so completely up to you. I used to work at Payoneer for many years. So ultimately, when you receive payments and disbursements from Amazon, you're going to want to get paid in your local currency. Otherwise, you're going to be hit by Amazon's currency conversion fees, which are typically 1.5 to 2.5%. So to avoid that, use a multi-currency account. You can get them for free, and then they'll charge you 0.5 or 1% instead of 2.5 for any FX conversions.
Is there a big difference between setting up a company in Spain or Germany or Netherlands? Why people should choose Germany? Is it because the largest Amazon market? Is it like an easy way to start?
Yeah, in terms of population and consumer spend, number of sales, etc., it's just the largest market based on revenue and potential. So it's probably the most established by a long way. And then a lot of brands, in terms of entrance into Europe, are thinking of going through the Netherlands because Germany isn't that easy to import to. And then you're able to defer your import back in through the Netherlands through something called Article 23 into German FBA centers. So that's the most common route. Okay. But then in addition to that, what you really need to understand, if you're going to be an FBA seller in Europe, there are a number of different FBA options. So you have European Fulfillment Network, EFN, you have Central European Programs, CEP, and then you have the Pan EU, which is like the king of the programs. And ultimately, it really depends on what your launch strategy is, how aggressive you want to be, and how much visibility your products want, because it's really important to understand what the benefits and disadvantages of each program are, because there are a lot.
And how do you pay the duty and the VAT? Like, if I want to ship something to Germany from US and my product is made in China, obviously each country has its own duty rates. Do I pay for my tax will go through the retail price or my FOB price? Because I know that sometimes German custom charges you the amount of duty because of your retail price, and then it could be very high. Do you see any challenges in this point?
I wouldn't say challenges. I think it's just about working with the right providers. So to have a blend of Taxually and your freight forwarder like Forsket will be able to advise you on exactly what to pay and when, based on the Incoterms of the delivery. Ultimately, you're going to need to pay import VAT and import duty at the border, unless you're deferring your taxes, which is something that Taxually and Forsket can help with collectively. And then from the tax, so the sales tax, the point of sale and the tax there, that will be either collected by the marketplace, or if you're not selling through a marketplace, then you'll be able to collect and remit that yourself.
Okay. What about I sold 100,000 euros worth of products. I made 10,000 euros profit at the end of the year. How do I pay tax? What's the bookkeeping process? Do I need a CPA? What's the cost of that?
Yeah, for sure. So ultimately, Taxually will be dealing with your indirect tax liability. So any profits that come through from local sales in the UK and EU will be brought back to the US and dealt with in the usual way that your state deals with that. And your CPA, as your accountant in that local state or in the US, for example, would be the best person to dictate what's to pay and when on a corporation tax level.
Right. Okay. And let's talk about the cons and pros in selling on Amazon Europe. When you start selling in Germany, how many % of the sales I could expect from Germany? Of course, it depends on the product, but what do you see like? Because a lot of people, they kind of worry about the customer service issue, which Amazon actually started a lot of different interesting ideas about this. Tell us a little bit about this, like people's experience when they start this, after they start, do they regret? They're like, oh yeah, I wish I started earlier. What do you see from the client side base?
Yeah. So Taxually has just over 10,000 Amazon sellers that are currently trading throughout Europe. We help them register and stay compliant through our platform and through our customer service. Ultimately, of course, there is a risk to reward. People do it well, people don't do it well. There's a reason why the number of deregistrations we see is so low, and that's because the market isn't as saturated as the US.
Right.
Consumer habits are strong, and internet penetration in each country is very high. Therefore, to gain traction through Amazon is not as difficult as it is in other countries.
Right.
So I would say that the vast majority of sellers see great success. A lot of sellers may see success, but not in every country, and they may pull back or advance depending on their strategy. But ultimately, great markets to attack, 700 odd million people throughout the EU. So it's a great opportunity to diversify risk and increase brand visibility.
And oh my God, I was just gonna say about the brand visibility, because a lot of companies, they forget that wholesalers or brick and mortar stores, they're looking for good selling brands in online, and then they actually ask them to start being importer for a wholesale. I think the B2B is a very important part of the business right now, since a lot of companies, they complain about the online sales numbers. I think it's a great opportunity to show your brand in a different marketplace. If you're selling a baby product, maybe a chain, a supermarket, like let's say Aldi, maybe like your product and then reach out to you to give them like a wholesale maybe opportunity. So never, I think, underestimate like the 700 million people who are in the European market, and the brand recognition, I think, is very, very important. Tom, thank you so much, mate. And let us know how people can actually find you.
Yeah, for sure. So drop me a message on LinkedIn or drop me an email. I'm sure Bright will include it in the follow-up, but it's Taxley, tom.meek@taxley.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much, and see you in the next video.
Cheers, Bright. Speak soon.